everybody. Happy Friday. Gonna wait a moment to see who's at the door. Hopefully somebody else will get that. Just wait a moment to see if a couple people will join live. It is December 23rd when I am recording this, and today I'm going to be talking about the number one cause of unnecessary suffering and hopefully how to avoid it. The first piece is to become aware of it, and then you can actually do something about it. I love talking about this because the more and more we are able to kind of notice what's happening, again, we can really be aware of it, and then we can have a choice to do something differently. I'm so all about empowered choice and conscious decisions because we have so much power in our own lives that we don't actually realize. And it is my mission to help empower you to lead an authentic and aligned and really vibrant and radiant life. That's what I'm here on this planet to do. So let's talk about the number one cause of unnecessary suffering, and that is struggling against what is. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that something is happening and we don't like it, and instead of accepting what is happening so that we can actually move forward from it, we struggle against it. And I have a couple of examples that I want to talk about. One I feel like is very relevant for today because it is a couple of days before Christmas. It's holiday season. Everybody is traveling right now, and there's a huge winter storm and weather across the country that is wreaking havoc on everybody's flight plans, my mother included. She is stuck in Newark right now. Hi, Mom. I'm sure you'll be watching this later. And even before that, so I'm going to bring in my family because, I am definitely being affected by this, but my mom is really the one that's being affected because she was the one that had all these well laid out plans for everything. We're traveling to New Hampshire for Christmas. None of us live there. And we're like staying in a condo, and we have to collect food for Christmas dinner. We celebrate Christmas, and so Mom had all of these well laid out plans to have this nice honey baked ham and have these great sides and go to Trader Joe's and get some food for the week. Well, those were kind of squashed yesterday when she found out that there was going to be rain and then ice on the roads potentially, and it wasn't the best idea to be traveling out of the way to go collect a honey baked ham and the grocery store provisions. So we don't know what we're having for food, and we're staying in a pretty small place that, there will be options there. But my mom is a planner, and I know that it's really difficult for any planner to really release those well laid out plans. And now she's stuck in Newark, and who knows when she's going to be able to make it to Manchester or Boston or somewhere close enough to be able to get to Lincoln, New Hampshire, which is where we're going to be staying. So many people right now are stuck in airports. So many people are not able to take the flights from the West Coast to the East Coast. And that can create a lot of challenge. That, of course, is going to bring up emotions. And a person could really get really upset about that and allow themselves to suffer so much more than they need to, right? By thinking, oh, this is terrible. This was not what I wanted. All of the things that we do when things don't go as planned. But struggling against all of that is not going to do any good. It only creates more suffering. Okay? So let me go on with a couple more examples, and then I'm going to talk about why it's so hard for us to let that go. So another example is, other people. We can't control other people. Surprise, surprise. I'm sure you already know that. Maybe you needed a little reminder of that. But we have no control over what other people are doing. And, you know, one example of this that I find a lot is like if you go out to a show and you're standing beside somebody who is being really annoying, but it's your spot, you've been there forever, you don't want to move because you waited so long to have the exact spot that you wanted in the venue, and now there's some asshole beside you that is really pissing you off. Well, guess what? You have a choice, and the only thing that you can control is yourself and the way that you respond to something. So the sooner that you can accept that you cannot change their behavior, but that you have the ability to do something about it, you can choose to activate your super strengths of ignoring it and not letting it bother you, or you can choose to activate your free will and move yourself from the situation. And I guarantee that if you do that and you choose your sanity and your peace, you will find the perfect spot, because that is how the universe rewards you when you make decisions based upon what is best for you. So that's just one example. Another example of annoying people could be while you're out holiday shopping, right? The stores are crazy, the lines are long, people are running on like fumes and feeling super overwhelmed. People are not the nicest as they could be. Traffic, same thing. You can't control other people. So the sooner you're able to accept that, the sooner that you are able to really do something that is going to help move you forward in the way that you need to go forward. One last example that I see all the time, because this happens at my work. For my day job, I work in an integrated pain clinic. I work with people with chronic pain that have been injured at work. So they're on workers' comp, and their whole lives have been stripped away from them, right? Their physical abilities have been taken from them. By the time I see the people, they are a year into their injury, 2 years into their injury. So this is not just an acute injury that just happened and, you know, they can take some time off work and then they go back. It's like their whole lives are changing, right? They had this whole plan of, oh, I'm going to work 5 more years and then I'm going to retire and I'm going to have my pension and I'm going to be all set and I'm going to have all of the savings that I have saved up. Well, now by the time I see them, they have gone through those savings. They have no job anymore because they've been let go by their employer. And that pension is not the same as it was going to be had they stuck it out for another 5 years. So everything changes, and now they're living in pain, and there is so much struggle against that. I mean, you can only imagine. We've all been through challenges, but that is a lot to deal with at once. But until there is acceptance of what is, there is no way to move forward. So the reason, two main reasons why it is so difficult for us to accept what is, to be able to let it go and to say, okay, I don't like this really sucks, but this is the way that things are right now, and the only way that I can move forward is if I accept that, right? Because otherwise we're just struggling against the thing that we don't want to have happen, and all of our energy is going to that. That's the problem with that struggle, is as long as we are struggling against what we don't want, we don't have any energy left to take care of ourselves in the way that we need to. We don't have any energy left to really think strategically about how we can move forward in a positive way, because all of our struggle is against what is happening that we don't want to be happening. So all of that energy is tied up there, and it's not leaving us any energy to really properly take care of ourselves and everything that is going on, and allow us to have the ability to choose to look forward in a clear and strategic way where we can really be accepting of what is happening, and then make appropriate decisions based upon the fact that that is not changing. That is not changing. The fact that the flight just got canceled, that, yeah, you were going to meet all of your family for Christmas and now you're not going to be there before Christmas Eve, that's not changing. What can change is for you to accept that, to be able to call the airlines to talk to somebody in a calm and relaxed way so that they can hear you and listen to you, so that they can be able to help you move forward. So all the energy that is going against struggling against what is actually happening is taking energy away from you moving forward in an appropriate way and actually taking care of yourselves. And the reason that it is so difficult, the reason that it doesn't come easy for us to accept what is one, we like to plan, okay? We are planners and we like to feel like we are in control. Of course, as far as the planning goes, some of us are more planners than others. But the fact of the matter is that most human beings like to feel in control. And we think that we can control everything out here, outside of ourselves. But the reality is that actually the only thing that we can control is right in here, right in here. And we have so much more control over this than we actually give ourselves credit for, than we actually realize, because we're so focused on trying to control everything out here, which is actually out of our control. But that's where we put our energy and attention to the situations that are happening to us, to the people around us that are annoying us. But our control comes from here. And when we learn to be able to really harness that, to be able to really tap into the ability to control how we react to things, how we respond to things, then that is ultimate control. So that's one main challenge, is that we like to be in control, and when we don't feel like we're in control, our mind goes a little crazy and it starts to try to attach to things that it thinks that it can control. The second challenge to us accepting things that we don't want them to be, is that we don't like discomfort. And it feels really uncomfortable to think about the fact that we're not going to be able to make it to our families for Christmas Eve, right? That feels really uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, I'm going to disappoint the family. Oh my gosh, things are not going to be as I thought that they were going to be. Oh my gosh, what if I have to spend the night in this airport? Right? All of that feels really uncomfortable. And so we struggle against it. We struggle against it. We struggle against it. Instead of just taking a nice deep breath, noticing all of those uncomfortable emotions that are coming up, being able to label them, because once we put a label to them, then we pull them outside of ourselves, and they are not something that are us, or are driving us, or are taking over us. They're just emotions, because we're human, and that's what we do. We feel things. We feel emotions. So when we can take a nice deep breath, and say, fuck, this sucks. This sucks, and I'm feeling sad, and I'm feeling disappointed, and I'm feeling nervous and anxious because I don't know what the future looks like right now. And we can name all of that, and we can place our hand on our heart or whatever we need to do to show some kindness and compassion to ourselves for this human life that we are living, which is very challenging most of the time. Then we can be able to accept what is happening in the moment and be able to move forward with attention, with clarity, and with the energy that we need to move appropriately, right? Instead of spinning out in everything that's happening that we can't control. So the best thing that I have found to help me with all of this is mindfulness. That is the one practice that has given me 3 main benefits that help me be able to navigate whatever is happening in my life with grace and with ease. And it does not come naturally, and it is absolutely a muscle that needs to be built and strengthened. I have a dog on my lap. That's what's happening down here. Because I love to control things, and I love to plan, and I never liked uncomfortable emotions. It was definitely something, hey Erin, definitely something that I had to get more comfortable with in myself, because it felt, I didn't want to be out of control. And when things are happening around me that I can't control, it feels out of control. I, just like everybody else that I was saying earlier, felt like I needed to control everything around me. But when I realized that actually the only thing that I can control is right here inside of me, and I really learned that through my mindfulness practice, then I was more able to do what I was talking about earlier, to take that deep breath, to notice those uncomfortable emotions that are arising, and to know that I'm not going to blow up like I used to think was going to happen with all of those uncomfortable emotions. So mindfulness really has given me 3 gifts that have been helpful in really accepting what is and not struggling against it. The first, let's see, I have these 3 written down. The first is that it really helped to establish a nice, calm inner baseline. Okay, so this happens by repetition. We can change our emotional baseline slowly over time by feeling the way that we want to feel. And through a regular mindfulness practice, it allowed me to tap into that sense of inner peace and calm that then actually became my regular way of being. So you've probably heard, or you may have heard, that mindfulness can change your brain. Mindfulness can also change your physiology as far as your emotional state goes. Does that mean that you never experience stress? Does that mean that you never get anxious? Does that mean that you never get angry? No, absolutely not. Because that's part of being a human, is having access to all of those emotions and feeling all of those emotions. But what it means is that your baseline, your regular way of being, is nice and calm and centered. So that when that anger does come up, when that irritation does come up, hi Stacy, when that anxiety does come up, then you can notice it because it feels so different than your normal way of being. You can be with it, you can take appropriate action if needed, or you can just sit with that emotion, and you can know that once it passes, you're going to come back to that calm state of being. So mindfulness can help change your emotional state to a more calm and relaxed state. It can also help teach you to be able to detach from those thoughts, right? So we're talking about the number 1 cause of unnecessary suffering, which is struggling against what is, okay? And what happens when we feel out of control because something else is happening to us is that our mind starts to grab on, or tries to grab onto anything that it can. It starts to say, oh, but what about this? What about this? What about that? If this isn't happening that way, that isn't happening that way. All of those thoughts can drive us crazy. That's what ups that anxiety. That's what keeps us spinning out, right? That's that struggle that I'm talking about. So when we can learn that we can actually let go of those thoughts, that we don't have to be controlled by them, that we don't have to be drug around by them, that is power. That is that control that I'm talking about from the inside. And we can learn that through mindfulness. That's how I learned how to be able to do that. I didn't even know I was thinking all of those thoughts before I started a mindfulness practice. The third main gift that mindfulness has given to me is that it allows me, or it has allowed me, the ability to strengthen that muscle of sitting with discomfort. Because mindfulness really is choosing to be in the present without judgment. That means that if I'm sitting here and all of a sudden I have an itch somewhere, right? Instead of automatically going to scratch that itch, I'm just going to notice the sensations of it. I'm going to notice where it is. I'm going to notice how intense it is. I'm going to notice how far it radiates. And maybe I still choose to scratch it. I'm not saying you have to keep yourself still and not do anything. But mindfulness allows us the ability to just get curious about the present moment. And it's in that curiosity that allows us that space to be able to notice that, wow, okay, I can actually sit here and I can notice that rage that is bubbling in my belly that makes me feel like I need to like jump out of my skin or go do something to somebody or something, but not act on that. And just sit there and be with the sensations. Sit there and be with those thoughts that come up. Sit there and be with that emotional activation, right? In a sensory form. And to know that while my brain tried to tell me that everything was going to fall apart, that the world was going to end, that I was going to somehow combust in some way, that didn't actually happen. And actually what ends up happening is those sensations, they begin to kind of die down. They begin to simmer out. They begin to transform into something else. And so mindfulness, again, has been the way that has taught me how to not struggle against what is. To be able to say, okay, this is happening right now. I don't like it. I didn't choose it. I wouldn't choose it. But this is what is. So how can I be with myself and my intense emotions about it? How can I be kind and gentle to myself? And how can I choose to move forward in a way of acceptance that's going to take me where I now want to go, based upon what's actually happening right now in this present moment? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I gave some examples earlier. I know there's a lot of people dealing with delayed travel plans today, canceled holiday gatherings, and that can be really difficult, and that's certainly something that's really up for a lot of people, my family included. My mom and stepfather are stuck in Newark with no way to get to New Hampshire at the present moment, and hopefully my mom is navigating this gracefully. But I know it can be really challenging for her and so many people. So, as I said before, these are the challenges that we're coming up against. The two main things that really make this so that it doesn't come easy to accept what is that we like to be in control, and we think that we can control everything on the outside. And also, we don't like discomfort. So we do anything that our brain tries to tell us to do to get out of that discomfort as quickly as possible. Mindfulness for me has been the key to really help me learn how to navigate discomfort, to navigate the unknown with grace and ease. And I would love to help teach you how to do that if you would like to learn. I do have a 6-week mindfulness kind of dive. It's called Free Your Mind, 6 weeks to peace, presence, and freedom from overthinking. If you'd like to hear more about that, I am in pre-sale right now, only through Wednesday. It's $177. It's $144 actually, or 2 payments of $77. We start in the middle of January. And it is not only learning how to practice mindfulness, it's actually learning how to embody all of these concepts, to take them out into your life. So the important part is to have a regular practice so that you can begin to build these strengths, you can begin to build these muscles inside of yourself. But that's not enough, because life doesn't happen while you're sitting in a practice. Life happens out in life. And so how can you begin to take that practice and then actually live those concepts of being able to be in that peace, be able to be in that presence, and to be able to respond to things as they come at you with grace and with ease. And gosh, can you imagine what life would be like if more and more of us could do that? It would be amazing. And that is the life that I want to be living in. So I am so happy to be here with you guys. Thanks so much for joining live. It's great to see some friends here. I hope you all have a beautiful holiday season. I am not 100% if I'm going to be here with you next week. I think I'm going to be traveling during this time. So, but I'll keep you posted. Check out my stories next Thursday for an update on the Friday Live for next week. But I will absolutely be back in the new year for sure. And I hope you guys have a lovely holiday season. I love you very much. Much, much, much love from me and my fam to you and yours. And take care. Bye.